I'm Sheila Brummer with Siouxland Public Media News. Any day now, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds will decide whether or not to sign a bill that weakens the state auditor's access to certain information. As part of his 99-county tour, Auditor Rod Sand has been raising the alarm. Sand was in Sioux City yesterday, Cedar Rapids today, raising his concern that the governor was going to sign a bill and its passage would go unnoticed ahead of the holiday weekend. Under the plan, the auditor's subpoena power would be weakened, relying on cooperation from the agencies being audited. The courts currently resolve disagreements in an audit. Under the new law, the auditor would appeal to a new board. It would be made up of a member from the auditor's office, another from the audited agency, and a third appointed by the governor.
When you give people in positions of power and trust the ability to hide corruption and waste that happens, that they're responsible for, some of them are going to take you up on it. And that's what this bill does, bottom line.
Sand says signed audits would be released with disclaimers or qualifiers based on the information available. The company hired to manage Iowa's new program to help students pay for private school held its first online meeting today for parents to explain the application process. New York-based Odyssey will use data connection with the Iowa Department of Revenue to check a person's tax return to verify if their child is an Iowa resident and eligible for an education savings account. Tax information will also show whether or not a family meets income limits that will be in place for current private school students. Odyssey CEO Joseph Connor says if a parent did not file a tax return, they will be asked to upload some other evidence of income.
They may also provide a recent pay stub for both parents or guardians from their employer and a letter from each employer verifying annual income for the employee.
Connor says the money provided for education savings accounts must first go toward tuition and fees. Anything left over can go towards expenses like book, software, or tutoring. Applications for the next school year will be open from May 31st to June 30th. And more Iowa farmers got their crops into the ground. The USDA crop report released on Monday shows 95% of the corn crop is now in the ground. That's 9 days ahead of last year and a dozen days ahead of the 5-year average. 65% of that corn is poking through, about 6 days ahead of average. Soybean planting moved from 69 to 84% complete in the last week. That puts farmers around 1 week ahead of last year and 2 weeks ahead of normal. 53% of the beans have emerged, which is 6 days ahead of the average. For Siouxland Public Media News, I'm Sheila Brummer.